Alright, welcome to the Grob Chess Club, grob.tu.com. I'm continuing my little journey through my World Open 2007 performance in the King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. My round 1 game, I won as black. This is my round 2 game. I played against a young man named Andrew Ding. I was white in this game. He was rated 1585, so he was rated 80 points higher than me, but it turns out he was actually rated over 1600 already. It just wasn't on the supplement at the time. So, let's see how it goes. The game began with me playing e4. He plays c5, Sicilian. I played knight f3. Now he plays e6, which is a perfectly viable opening. And in fact, a little backstory. Before this game, I had only lost 3 games within the last year before last year's World Open. So in a whole year, I had only lost 3 games. And then the most recent game that I had lost was actually when I was white playing against e6 in this structure. So quite honestly, I was worried about it here. So I just played book moves. I played d4. He plays c takes d4. I played knight takes d4. And now he plays a6. But actually, the game that I had lost was only maybe a week or so before this, and my opponent played knight f6. And I didn't really know too much about these e6 structures, so I played knight c3 here and ran trouble after bishop b4. It turns out you need to play bishop d3, so I was well prepared after that, so it's a good thing that I lost that game. So he plays a6, the Khan Sicilian, so I have bishop d3, protecting the e4 square, so I don't have to run into that knight c3, bishop b4 business. Then he plays knight f6 and now castle. Now he plays queen c7, so he's transposing sort of like a Taimanov structure. Now I play knight c3. Problem with like an immediate break f4, then now he can play bishop c5, my knight is pinned, and I'm in a lot of trouble. So I didn't really want to run into that right now. So first I played knight 3, and now he plays d6. I was more worried about bishop c5. Now he's really, gotten that option out of the way. So I moved my king out of the way anyway, so he can't play queen c5 and lock my knight in. Now he plays bishop e7, and now I break with f4. So he plays b5, trying to get some kind of expansion on the queen side, and I play queen e2. However, there's a more instructive move here. I should have played e5 upon sacrifice. Notice that he plays like d takes e5, I can play f takes e5, and then if he takes back with queen takes e5, bishop f4 is very strong. Notice he can't take that hanging knight on d4 because I have bishop takes b5 check. If he takes the knight, I get queen, and then he's already lost. So, and it's amazing that Fritz doesn't even find e5 here, but it definitely works. F takes queen takes e5. Now if I take bishop f4, and he runs out of the way. Let's say he goes h5. Well, I can force the queen to c5. So bishop e2, he only has, I believe, 1 square to go to. Well, he has other squares to go to. They just don't work. So queen c5, trying to protect as much as he can on the queen side. And bishop f3 now, hitting that hanging rook on a8. And he can't do anything about it. Say he plays knight d5, I can take on d5. And I'm only going to have these moves. I'm actually going to win that rook flat out. And in some situations, I'm going to win more than that. This is a nice little structure right here because I can actually sacrifice this bishop, and I mean there's much tactically here. I didn't even realize I was actually too afraid to play that pawn sacrifice that I missed all this. But it's nice to know after the game in case I ever run into this again. So play queen e2, just trying to push e5 without having to sacrifice a pawn. Now he plays knight bd7. I have knight f3, so I'm all ready to push e5. And here he should have played bishop b7. Bishop b7 stops all my nonsense of hitting his rook on a8. And it's like I can't push e5 because then he can just take my knight, and I think I'm going to actually hang a pawn. So instead he castles, which is a mistake, definitely. So now I push e5. If he takes, I don't think it works for him. He's still going to have to move his knight back, so same sort of idea. So he plays knight e8, hoping maybe to play like an f5 later or an f6, and then move his knight out somehow. Don't know what he was thinking. But then play queen e4. I took quite a amount of time for this, and I was staring at his rook at a8, hoping maybe distract him. Notice that I'm threatening mate on h7, and I'm threatening his rook. I had to make sure, though, that it wasn't like some sort of trap. Say, because if he plays like 5, I had to make sure this a8 actually worked. Because he can threaten me all sorts of ways. He almost traps me with like knight b6, and I have this nice shot knight b5. And I'm hitting his queen, and I'm actually going to get out. And then also the other one would have been bishop b7, but the thing happens with knight takes b5, and then, I win the game. So instead, after queen e4, hitting that rook and threatening mate, I guess he just missed the mate threat, because he just plays bishop b7, then he gives me a glance like, what are you doing? And then I play queen takes h7 mate. So, even though I missed a really nice shot e5 after b5 here, I should have played e5, maybe you can use it sometime. But I missed e5 here, but I ended up winning the game still with the later e5. So hope you enjoyed this game. Join me for round 3. My round 3 game is also a win. I was black against a man named John Hale. He's from California, I think, but he just moved. So I hope you enjoy the next game. Join me next time. Bye.